Chapter 10. As by mixture with water and by friction, sandalwood emits an excellent odor, removing all bad smells. So divine aspiration becomes manifest when external desire is washed away. So says Shankara in the Viveka-Chudamani. Today during meditation, I remembered these words of Sri Shankara, the greatest philosopher and spiritual teacher in India for the last 2,000 years. The modifications in my consciousness are now so swift and imperceptible that the mind is unable to register them as they take place. I could note down only a few of the most important immediately after they occurred. One of them, probably the most significant, was this. Although I cannot yet stay in contemplation the whole day long, this is obvious, yet I return to it without any effort as soon as I hear any of the Maharshi's words, read something of his writings, or even those of any other master who deals with the spiritual life. Till now it is chiefly casual, but I know that soon I shall be able to enter this state at will. Once the path is open, one cannot forget nor desert it. In the presence of the saint, the mind is turned up to silence and does not dare to indulge in endless questioning as it used to do. This blind egoistic element loses its power and charm in the presence of one who prevails over it and discovers its true source. As the Maharshi said, the mind is constituted by thoughts. Stop thinking and show me then where is the mind. Experience proves that after discarding all thoughts from what we call mind, nothing remains. But life does not stop there, as unfortunately many people are apt to believe. On the contrary, it manifests itself with more power and intensity, although it is true far more subtly. I well remember those times when I could not imagine that one could exist without thinking. And the Maharshi says, the most important way to improve the mind is to stop thinking. Thinking and thinking is the cause of the heated brain. What is the practical difficulty in achieving this control? It lies in the fact that for untrained people, the very process of thinking has in itself a charm not easy to overcome. The constant inward use of Maharshi's question, the self-inquiry, who am I, quiets the rebellious mind. One also sees that the acceptance of the axiom, no one has ever been able to discover truth by thinking, nor to arrive at any definite discovery in the spiritual realm through the activity of the mind, and thus destroys the very interest in the process of thought itself. And when our interest weakens, we are not far from victory. The more we become independent of our mind, compelling it to silence at will, the better the servant it becomes, and the more useful the services it can render to us in its own sphere of action. Many ignorant people, when they hear about the necessity of transcending the mind or killing it, imagine that such an action would result in a kind of dullness or stupor, rendering one incapable of solving the ordinary problems of life on the physical plane. But remember, The mind is a good servant, but a cruel master. It seems that to transcend the limit of the mind, which in practice is tantamount to the transfer of consciousness to the transcendent spiritual level, is not possible for each and every one. One may hear about the process and the methods of applying it, but may not necessarily understand, still less be inclined to follow the hints given. I have met many people, quite intelligent in the usual sense of the word, who were utterly incapable of imagining such a possibility, or of grasping, even in theory, the problem itself. Just as we cannot perceive ultraviolet rays. All their life was concentrated on the physical plane, and on it alone could they see their purpose. The very conception of other possibilities was for them non-existent. Of course, these problems, as well as the present book, are not meant for this type of person. An elderly Brahmin who is sitting near me is reciting the Gayatri mantra, the most ancient mantra of the Aryan race. For him, a formula of daily meditation. I enter the current and mentally repeat with him, "Let us meditate upon the glory of the One who created this universe. Let him illumine our minds."